Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Back to my regularly scheduled programming, as you can see. Hope you're doing well. I hope that this Thursday, February 15th, is a good day, to say the least. A fantastic day, a stupendous day, a wonderful day, to say the most. Can't wait to see what message we have here today. It's funny because I was like really trying to get to the table so much earlier than now, but I got swept into the live proceedings for District Attorney Fani Willis, and just as I was about to head out, they brought her romantic partner to the stand, and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta watch this. Like I didn't even know I was that interested in the case, to be honest with you, but what drew me in is what drew me in and turned me off quite a bit actually was the prosecutor. I think her name is Miss Merchant, or the Attorney Merchant, or I don't know, whatever her title is, who's very annoying. Like her style is very like that's the best way I could describe it. Like, girl, sit down. But she's the lead prosecutor, I suppose, on the case or whatever. And at first I was just intrigued because she just seems to take a great deal of liberty in the proceedings to be kind of personal or kind of and passive aggressive at times too. I don't even know why I'm saying all this, but anyway, that's what drew me in, because I was just like, what is this? Is this how the game goes? You know? And the judge is kind of like pretty laid back, but definitely seems fair so far. I kind of like his style a bit. He has a different energy. So I was about to head on out, but then they called the witness, which was him. I don't even forget his name at this time. Wade. And I was just intrigued to just hear what he had to say. And the questioning was just so long and elaborate, and it was so much. But it was interesting, and I was trying, like, I don't know a whole lot about the case because I haven't really tuned into it much. But I was prepared to be biased a certain type of way because, you know, the energetic propaganda of it is more or less Trump against the black woman is what it's feeling like. Like, get this black chick off the case. You know, we don't want her trying Trump. And not that I even have anything particularly against Trump in the racial department personally, you know what I mean? Like, I know his persona is what it is, and, you know, it's like, okay, him and how many others like him, it's like, that's just what it is, you know? But it just felt a little bit, if still to some degree does still feel a bit inflated because of who is prosecuting, you know? Not that Trump, especially when it comes to women, his historical, his reputation kind of precedes him to be misogynistic in some ways, regardless of color. So that's why I'm saying, like, I know it's not really that limited or black and white, pun intended, but something about it felt a little bit fishy and still kind of does. But then when I was hearing the line of questioning and his answers, it was like, oh, hold up here. Is there some foul play, something sneaky going on here? Was the prosecutor having, because a lot of it was geared around Wade, her romantic interest, picking up the tab with his business credit card for a lot of their personal affairs. So I'm assuming that there's a lot of speculation around that, because instead of her paying for personal affairs, which would be tracked and monitored because of her position, it kind of appears that he's been paying for them, but his testimony is that she was very adamant about reimbursement, and that his expenses are filed justifiably with his accountant for tax purposes, so everything isn't just like written off for business, so allegedly, but I think that's what ultimately the prosecution is setting up. I finally got the hell up out of there when they decided to take a break, so I was like, let me get out of here, let me go do what I gotta do. But it seems like that's what they're setting up, like some type of mismanagement of funds, or particularly of county jurisdiction, right? Because of how people are paid, and then if they were using his credit card to do personal things, but and then writing it off as business, then it's kind of like a double kickback, So I don't know, because the whole time, he was definitely very poised, I would say, throughout his throughout the questioning. So to some degree, like, obviously he's a lawyer, so he knows how to get around certain things, but it was just also like how it's being set up. It's like, well, the facts will be the facts, because he's saying that she done made all these cash reimbursements, so it's only natural that they're probably going to ask for her to show receipts or statements for cash withdrawals, so it's like, is he setting her up even more? So I don't know. Like, I gotta say, I'm kind of, what's that? Knight of Wands. And he was definitely looking like a little bit of a pimp, just a little bit. But like I said, the way it's being set up is not necessarily what it absolutely is, especially given what could be the motivation and the what do you call it? The motivation and the intent, behind this pursuit, this legal pursuit. So we'll see how it unfolds. But like I said, I didn't even think I was all that interested, and then suddenly I am now. So I'm kind of curious to see which way this goes. I feel like that, as always, there's some reason why I'm saying that, maybe some legal situations, because the thing about it is, it wouldn't be out of line. Justice knows no color or creed. It's no respecter of persons. As a matter of fact, as is said even in the scriptures, that God is I think we say that in religion, but I think it's actually a scripture that God is no respecter of persons. So even where I might be inclined to want to protect the black woman, because we know how the stakes are stacked typically, but in the same regard, everybody is having to answer for their deeds no matter what, and if you were kind of falling under the radar at one point in time because of your position and the ways that you were able to manipulate power and authority and move this over here, move that over there, and throw your weight around, you got to answer for that, especially if it was unjustifiable. And particularly, a lot of times, things that come up, like karma comes around in weird ways. It's like the way you get got or get called to judgment sometimes may not even be the thing that you ever thought you would get your card pulled for. It could be other things that are going on that she's asserted herself in, allegedly. Now, I'm not calling this on to her because, like I said, I'm not even that connected to the case, but I'm speaking more generally and spiritually now. But there could be other things that she asserted her energy in connection with, or two, that have not been upright, that nobody will ever know about, or at least nobody knows about, or perhaps she could have even thought like, oh, this will be the one, this will be the nail in the coffin. In this little case, as to whether or not she had an affair and what was done with money and this and that, I mean, it's important, but it's probably like the tip of the iceberg if in fact there is guilt here to some degree for what she probably has sown, you know what I mean? So a lot, like, I'm saying that to say that sometimes you just never know how the universe will respond to create fairness and balance. You know, it doesn't have to be an eye for an eye, and sometimes it's not. You know, you'll have one eye closed and not even see through your blind spot something else coming from a whole nother way. Like I said, with old boy, the way he said, I'm sure they have communicated and consulted in some way, I would hope, even secretly. But the way he's setting it up, it's almost stacking her defense against her, whereas I hope she got receipts for all these withdrawals that he's claiming that she reimbursed him for. That would be really the only defense for her at this point, if this case is in fact about, you know, money, you know, and like, what isn't, right? Oh, shit. It always is, isn't it? But the death card, ooh, yiggity yikes. Sorry for the chit chat, but I know it has relevance, and it may not even be all that clear to me now because I'm so fresh and green to this case that I really was just chit-chatting just now, like kind of wanted to release that energy, you know, but I know it does have relevance even even generally speaking, as I said, as you know, this is judgment season and no one is exempt. Here's a death card. What a way to begin, right? My God, my God. All right, let's see what we got here. Death and the Lovers. Oh, the end of the relationship? Oh, man. Hold up. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. What's this? Shoot, the strength card. What's happening here? Death, lovers, strength. Now, is this death in the final sense or in the transformative or transitional sense? Let me get a card on that. Whoa! 10 of Swords. Very final. Brutal. Hold on. Then what's the strength about? And the Lovers? Let me get another one after the strength. And you know what? It's funny because the other thing that was intriguing is in some of the questions, you know, the lawyer was asking him about certain places, like she's trying to establish, she's annoying. So it's like, you hear it, but she's been chastised by even the judge about her reasoning for questions and stuff like that. But she was asking him about different places, different excursions or places that they had supposedly traveled together. This cabin here, this island there, blah, 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 blah. And there were a couple of things that he took a long time, like he couldn't really account for. And I immediately said to me, because he even said, he was like, there have been trips that I've gone on, and I just wanted to be thoughtful about whether or not Miss DA Willis accompanied me. And I'm like, he might be getting exposed too right now. Like, I don't know if they still have a relationship or whatever, if that's over, but he might be getting exposed too on this stand that, you know, she wasn't even the only one. You know, like that's what it was given to me personally. That he's like, yeah, I've been there. Because he was taking so long that it's like, well, if you weren't there with her, because that was the question. Like, did you go to this cabin in Tennessee with so-and-so? And he just was like, I've never, you know, he was playing all these semantics pretty much. But then he took this long-ass pause to think. And that was his explanation for it. But it's like, if you've been to a cabin with anyone in Tennessee, you at least know whether it was her or not, you know? So obviously he's been to a cabin, but it wasn't with her. You know, not to say people, you know, because I don't know what the true nature, oh, there's the judge. I don't know what the true nature of their relationship is or was. But yeah. And you know what? I don't mean to make this all about that, but somehow it feels like that. And he kept making references to her as like this strong, independent woman that, you know, trying to make a case for why it is that she would always be so adamant about reimbursement, because she likes to pay her own way, as he would say. She wanted to carry her own weight. She never wanted to feel like he was doing but so much for her. So think the expenses throughout their relationship were always pretty balanced. Like he paid for one thing, she paid for another. Or if he paid for a trip, she might reimburse for her half or whatever. Like that's the case that he was making. But we got the Knight of Cups, which is that finesser energy, and then the Hierophant. Now, what I didn't understand is if he was actually the judge, if he became a judge, or if he was just, because they never referred to him as a judge, but there definitely was a point in time where he was pursuing, I don't know if you say running to be a judge, or if he was pursuing that position, because the lawyer made reference to it, but they never referred to him as that. So I don't know if he's an active judge or ever was, but this energy here with the Knight of Cups, I know she was at one point in time. She was a judge before she became the DA. So, oh, shoot. So I don't know, like he could have been finessing her. And of course, like, please take this as it resonates, because it's not limited to this case. This is just how the message is coming through right now. You know how I work if you've been here before, so you get me. But if you haven't, trust me, I'm not trying to pry in, because I don't even really like doing that. Those channels that tap into celebrity energy, or, you know, without permission and stuff like that. I don't even really like doing that type of stuff. Like if something comes up naturally, organically, spiritually, then it's fair game, you know. But this is not me trying to look deeper into what's what, because I feel like you kind of veer into intrusive when you do that. But anyway, there's some ending of a relationship. With that Ten of Swords, it's kind of gruesome, or there was a great deal of betrayal maybe that led up to the ending. We still got the Strength card in the middle, but then we got the Knight of Cups. I know he ain't tried. Like I said, it felt weird, like how it was set up, like she reimbursed me, because how is she going to prove that? We know good and damn well that woman ain't reimbursed him for every single thing that they're laying out. So it kind of paints her into a corner. I wonder if there's something corrupt going on here. But the only thing is that I don't know what how he's been disenfranchised on account of this, but clearly she has a great stake to lose, you know, because she's in the position to be prosecuting Trump for whatever that case is. And now she's facing being excused or recused, or however that gets to be. So I don't know. And then who knows what they might follow up with after that, with all this financial stuff being uncovered. She might get demoted back down to a judge's seat, if not less, at this point. So it's feeling like, I don't know, like I'm wondering if, because the thing about it is that he still would have a great stake in protecting his own ass, because he's still a licensed attorney as well, at least, if not more than. So I feel like there's only but so far he could really go without incriminating himself, and maybe that's the barrier here. I don't know. I don't want to call that into that black man. Black man, you ain't trying to set this black woman up, is you? And there's only but so far he can go without, you know, throwing himself in the hot seat, or throwing himself, you know, not the hot seat because he already in the damn hot seat, but throwing himself in the fire, I would say. Here's the King of Cups. Under the death. He ain't got no love no more? What's the King of Cups? That ten of swords, man, that speaks volumes. There's something corrupt happening here. Some act of betrayal, something underhanded, because that's where I was with it. I was engaged in the testimony of the best friend. Well, she corrected them and said we weren't best friends, we were good friends. But she was like the leading witness that testified to having personal knowledge of their relationship from a certain time, because apparently the time frame of the relationship matters most, not just in establishing his credibility as honorable and this and that, but also on account of their appointments into different positions. Her from going from judge to DA, and him what was being filtered through his personal firm and like stuff like that. It's a lot. So there's a lot of moving parts, clearly, that I only got the surface of through watching it just a little bit. But it's just interesting, like, what is the true nature of this? You know, the fact and the timing of it all, that it comes up now, we know that's not coincidental. You know, even if all the facts are fair, it's like that it comes up at this point in time, right before she's about to be in a major position in a big case. You know, it's like, who's behind this, really? And I think actually the prosecuting attorney is the one that filed the motion to excuse or disqualify, something like that. It says to disqualify. I don't know, but I keep hearing Mr. Lover Man with this King of Cups here. Ooh. Holding on to something. It's like, it's only but so much with the city behind them. What is this? Emotional damage, I hear. Emotional damage with the Death and the King of Cups. And holding on to some, maybe a grudge. Could be from the loss of access that he had, because I mean, he, by his own testimony, he said, you know, she was like celebrity status, you know, especially in Atlanta, they had to go travel outside of the state just to have lunch sometimes peacefully. So maybe there was a little bit, if their relationship dissolved, which I feel like it was a lot of past tense. Oh. Oh. Exactly. That status, that prestige that he got off of the connection. This is crazy. Take this generally because I don't know, like, I don't even know, okay? So we're going to take this generally, but I'm going to just keep speaking on it as I am. Because this could be anything or anyone, okay? But it's feeling like, from what the cards are saying, and it could be that it never really was a love thing. It was more transactional, that he had a great deal to benefit from just being in connection with her, monetarily, but also with access and power and authority, and she had a lot. She had a lot of power. She has a lot of power, probably still. That was a great bit, like, created a great deal of opportunity for him. Is this an opportunist with the Four of Pentacles, holding on to whatever he could wrap his hands around, flipping it in his favor? Let's get another one. Ooh, no, no, black man. But it's so hard for me to really, like, digest that because, like I said, he was definitely very poised and careful with his answers, but he's a lawyer, so he knows the game. But there's some, this is representative of jealousy here. But it's fallen under the Knight of Cups. So either this is both of them under attack on account of some external hate, you know, in opposition. Which it could be. It could be. The Five of Swords, like, you can't get around that energy, though. But it's under the Knight of Cups, so that's... If that's not him, ooh, as the Knight of Cups, and this is him as a single... her as a single person... And he was married when they met, but his testimony is that their marriage was more or less broken since 2015. They were just still together for the kids until they sent the last kid off to college, and then they filed for divorce. So it was just like a relationship for parents' sake and for the sake of the kids. So he says. So I don't know, like, This Five of Swords is somebody hating that had a reason to win, or had a motivation to win at all costs. It could be against the King of Pentacles and also against this feminine energy to create the separation in the first place. Maybe somebody hating on the benefits that he was getting by being a part of this connection. That maybe took the tea to the justice system to blow the whistle. Somebody had to blow the whistle. Ain't no way this was just uncovered, you know, naturally. But then with the Nine of Pentacles, now she's a single woman. So I don't think they are together anymore. But I'm trying to understand. Still independent, though. Single, independent woman. Strong, independent woman. Because he made that point very clear. But you see, the justice is hanging over her head, though. So I'm still thoughtful about... Okay, I'm a flip a card. Is this opposition, how can I say this? Is this opposition the masculine himself? Let's see what we got. King of Swords. That's a whole nother energy. And yeah, like it's and that could also be like an agent or some official of some sorts. So I don't think it's him. It's somebody that has an interest in defeating him in some way, shape, or form. The King of Swords. Who would have the tea, right, with the sword energy, but would be prone to use it destructively. Who else testified was one of his former partners. And apparently there used to be 3, but then there were 2. They released 1. So it could be old boy, you know, or he might be the one to dish up the tea, because there was one that was testifying, but it was kind of hard to really get any leeway with him, because he had more or less been like the attorney for his divorce proceedings. So they were really arguing attorney-client privilege. So a lot of the questioning that the prosecutors wanted to ask kept getting like struck down and objected. So they actually took him off the stand and then moved on to the so-called good friend that used to work with the DA in the prosecutor's office. Years ago, they were friends in college, as a matter of fact. So they had a long history together, and she was the one that pretty much testified to the knowledge of the relationship by a certain time frame. All right, so hold on, let me see. Is this opposition, I'm feeling strong that it's opposition from someone that has an invested interest and obviously would have some intimate proximity to have access to the truth as it stands. We know it's against him. Is it against her? Or is she just kind of like caught up in the flow? It's against both of them. So somebody got a vendetta, or she could be caught up in the flow, because sometimes with the Five of Pentacles, it's a karmic card, you know, like sometimes you can get caught. Remember I said in the beginning, it's like you could sometimes get caught in a karmic backlash or backfire for something that wasn't even like a direct offense of yours. Like she may have never even have seen this coming, but perhaps it's the return of a different type of offense. Maybe they playing this whole game about, you know, the semantics of when the marriage ended and when it didn't. He's claiming that it ended well before they filed for the divorce, which could be true, but you know how stuff like that goes. If y'all was still living in the house and still playing family, but you was still out doing your thing, it's like, was it on the up and up though? You know what I mean? Like, did the wife know? Was everyone in agreement with this arrangement? Because even that could be karmic, you know, and more or less like warrant a universal response or rectification, you know? So, and her engagement in it would implicate her, if that is the case, you know, if that is the case. But whatever it is, this centered opposition, as I thought, because there are two people in the background, is against the two of them. And I feel like it's an energy that may not have even been, introduced just yet. Either it was that attorney that they had to excuse and, you know, reserve to bring back, who he's probably going to end up having to speak to more than what he's trying not to. But the reason why he's holding back as well is because he's in fear of losing his license on account of violating attorney. So everybody's tongues are tied in this. You know, their hands are a bit tied on what they had knowledge of versus what is covered by privilege. And that's pretty much like the cape that everyone is more or less, you know, hiding under at this time. But I don't know that that's going to really last, but for so long. Not when there is a very specific judgment that needs to be made here on account of whether something inappropriate happened or not. Whatever that means, whether it's socially, relationally, professionally, financially, they're trying to establish some grounds here, and I don't think that they're going to allow, they're not going to allow anybody to get away with not coming clean with as much as possible as there is to know. And it's like all these lawyers trying each other. It's like they all playing each other. It's hilarious. We got the Eight of Pentacles here. That's work, labor, dedication, focus on some manufactured outcome. Under the King of Cups. Ooh. Balance. I know the devil's in. Oh no, that's not the devil, but that's a lot of cards. I'm not going to do that, but I do see the Nine of Swords. I will look at them because I need some help here. Like, this is crazy how this is going to me. There's the truth and clarity right there. So, see, and that's what I was saying. It's like, this is withholding. Like, all this information that everybody's trying to, like, hold back. Like, no, I ain't saying that. Or, you know, playing these games on the stand. But the truth and clarity will prevail. It has to. Here is Temperance card. That's spiritual justice. The King of Wands is facing it. Perhaps having some expectation to be able to kind of like beat this or get around having to divulge all of his plans and, you know, like all of the particulars and details. But in the end, with the Nine of Swords, about who? The Queen of Cups, which would be the partnership here. Or, ooh, with the Knight of Wands, like I said, maybe about his I almost said infidelities, but oh, it could be, that could be the wife. Because she's the single lady, the DA. He was the one actually married. And I don't, so it could be the wife in here somewhere who may have wanted to forge the exposure of him on account of her own bitterness, maybe, perhaps. Having some expectation, maybe the divorce didn't go as she intended, because it's very fresh. I want to say 2023. If not filed at that time, that's when it was, and obviously if it was filed then, and it's not official now, but it's something very fresh about their proceedings. Like maybe wanted to expose him for the player with the Knight of Wands that he actually is. That's probably what he's trying to resist. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, you done got Fani, which I always thought it was Fani, but apparently it's Fani, Willis. I guess the same way as Kamala. And not Kamala. Oh, child, these people. So yeah, he's stressed that the truth is going to be revealed more, and that you see how that was like extra. That's like backstory behind the scenes. It's like something deeper here, more than just two people that maybe they shouldn't have had an inappropriate relationship, but they ain't break no laws. Something here, probably particularly regarding character, is in jeopardy with the Four of Pentacles, like this prestige being knocked down or tarnished in some way. And it could be even by way of some inappropriate financial activities, sure, but it's the culmination of the bruised persona and ego that is at stake here. Maybe it being unveiling that, yeah, they were together for the kids, but that they were really actually together, you know, or that, yeah, these trips were being taken for pleasure, but they were being written off as business expenses. You know, like something's fishy here. And it may not be as bad. I don't know. Like I said, the nature of this case might not be all that it's being propped up to be, but it's some reckoning for something else. It's like, this is just how it's playing out, and to the world at that. You know, it's like the things that they probably are very much so guilty of, the things that nobody has been privy to see or may never be privy to see, those are probably still in the shadows, but it's this that gets to play out on the world stage, and it's still somehow, with that Temperance card, spiritually justified. That's wild. All right, what's after this Ace of Swords? That's too much, but let me just say, well, it's not really, but there's a Ten of Swords again. Yeah, somebody's just going to have to relent to the truth. This is almost like falling on your own sword. With the Four of Swords and then the 10, what's the difference? The 6 to move forward. There's not going to be a moving forward until wrongs are rectified, whatever they may be, until at least spiritual justice is served, but perhaps it coming by way of physical justice. And then the Three of Swords hanging here on the wall. This is like pains and toxicity, and particularly pain, though, is what I'm picking up on. It could be past pains that have been inflicted upon others, or discomforts, or, you know, maybe past toxic behaviors even, that somebody hung up on the shelf. Like, this is a thing, like they might have even been done with that energy, that mind frame, moved on, you know, grown up, matured, stepped away from certain ways about them, and now it's coming back up. Just when you turned over a new leaf. It's like, there was one case, I talked about this before, with Judge Boyd. That's the black judge that I talked about in another video, that I got roped into watching her court cases. But there was one offender, and he was a sexual offender. And he, at this point in his life that he was actually being tried and sentenced, had come a long ways from what he did regarding the incident in question. The person was like, I think she was like grown or just significantly older than when he had actually committed the offense. So his argument, which was very jilted, of course, which is why it went nowhere, as you can imagine, but his argument was that, you know, now for the first time in his life, he's living a normal life. He's married. They didn't have any kids, but he was married. He has a great job. He's focused on being a productive citizen, claiming not to have, you know, had that encounter since, you know, like really harping on the normalcy of the life he kept saying finally been able to create for himself. But it's like, you did at the moment you least expected is when what you did do, but you didn't account for, you didn't atone for, will resurrect itself, so to speak. And you have to account for it anyway. And then again, as I said, at the most inopportune moment of time, when you're actually not doing anything wrong, you're just trying to be normal, live your regular life, and it's like, oh, but remember, remember what happened? Yep, exactly. And I feel like now, especially up under this King of Pentacles, he's worried about what else could be scratched up in this case. Like I said, of things that some of which don't have anything to do with the case, because a lot of it was a lot of the argument during the live that I was watching, is like, what is the relevance to this case? Now we're bringing up all types of dirty laundry, all types of past occurrences that you thought you just was living your life in Aruba, in Tennessee, in California, in Napa, you know, like just living your best life. And now it's like, it's not even just the occurrence, but it's the timeline that's being scrutinized, and the amount of money that was being funneled into your private practice, and at what, when, and why, for what, you know, and then your taxes that are going to be probably scrutinized item for item. It's like, it's so much more to be nervous about. This is somebody that's anxious, not knowing what the future is about to hold, but has a certain expectation that it may not be good, especially when we're talking about truth and clarity is on your back. I feel like this might, and look who popped up. So that solidifies that right there when I asked the question of, yeah. Somebody is, I feel like it could be one of the partners, the partner that was dismissed, or it could be some colleague that has skin in the game to get these out, this guy at least out the way, or get back, you know, some get back. His anxiety is about what someone could say that knows well enough to be credible to say it with this King of Swords. It's like he's sandwiched in by truth and clarity here. The spiritual nature, the reality of like what actually happened, and somebody's testimony about it. This is wild. I can't believe how this, let me just get one more. I'm so intrigued, but I don't want to drag it too long. That was almost the Seven of Pentacles, long-term investments. And the thing is, it's like, and when I'm sensing that, and also with the Knight of Cups, it's like he may have been engaged intimately, but I'm feeling some opportunistic vibes too, though. That it was like, yeah, like she cool, you know, I have a good time with her, you know what I mean? But, and it may have even grown to something far more intimate and deeper, you know? But I get the sense that part of his karmic backlash is that it really was opportunistic. He saw the long-term benefits of having access with a high-powered woman, and he rode that wave at all costs. He played the part of the lover man. He played his position, you know, like how they usually say about women, like, well, you play your position. He played his position for the benefits that it afforded, because all his partners in his law firm had contracts with the county, and, you know, it was a lot to be benefited from there. And the question of integrity is not so much like, were these just consenting adults? Because even just on her side, like, did the wife know that y'all, you know what I mean, that this was going on? But it's like, just as she's accountable for her part, he would be accountable even within the engagement. Like, was this something you were really connected to, or were you just in it for what you could win? You know, in it to win it. You know what I mean? Whatever it was, whatever was fashionable at the time. And it just was an added bonus to have this relationship, which I bet you is going to be uncovered that she wasn't the only one. Not the way he was trying to recollect his trips and stuff like that. Like, something going to come out. Here's the Emperor. And here, look at this. I'm just going to show you this. Ooh, 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords. Yep, something's going to come out. Something's going to come out. The Emperor. I'm just curious, what's this card? The High Priestess, the Secrets, and the Justice. Oh my goodness. Look how she peeking out from behind Justice. 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords. Like, ooh, this case might get much stickier before it might escalate. Because right now she's not, I don't think she's under any type of, damn, this is crazy. She's not under any, like, she's not being charged with anything in particular. It's a hearing to decide if she should be excused or recused or whatever the term is properly. But this is probably going to be like a can of worms for other things, and it sucks because I don't want to see my black woman go down like that. But damn, this is going to be a can of worms probably for both of them. Whereas they might both have no choice by law under oath, but to begin to almost betray one another or burden each other with the truth, because you will have no choice. You're going to have to come clean. You're going to have to be upright or run the risk. Like, they're probably going to both be in a position where they're going to have to kind of like save their own ass or you know, lessen their own sentence, because she's not going to want to lose her power and prestige altogether. She may be facing a demotion though, like from the DA to, like I said, back to a judge, maybe even back to a lawyer if she's even spared that much, depending on what comes out, because this ain't looking good. The 10 of Swords, the 10 of Wands, the High Priestess with, and oh my God. Oh no. Now I'm really interested to see how this plays out. Because somebody's up in the mix trying to make sure that justice is served. And it's coming out almost like as an opposition or an enemy. Maybe because it really is the opposition to what wasn't upright. And as I said, it's like the truth being weaponized. It's not any less the truth, but how it's being used in this case is not going to be favorable for these defendants. What's this? Oh, first of all, the Ace of Cups and then the Four of Wands. Yeah, this is the balance. It's like almost like I'm getting like a baptism. And now my throat is like trying to seize up. Sorry, hold on. Wait a minute now. I'm at the end. Give me a break. A baptism or maybe a restoration of balance, harmony. I don't know who that gets to be for, but the Moon card is here. And what's this? Just to see. Oh my gosh. And that's the High, is that the High Priestess again here? No, that's the 10 of Swords again. So who's the balance for? So this is uncovering the secrets of these two, the lovers, but not in a, not going to be, it's not going to be exposed in a good light. Wheel of Fortune, my God, I'm done. I'm done. This is the karma that's coming back around when they least expect it, in a way that they least expected it too. It's a mystery. It's mystical. Like, they never expected for this to come back around and be exposed because of their positions of power, because of the ways that they played the game. They kept everything very private, very secretive, using his card, not hers, and never thinking the two things would cross paths. And now here's the Ace of Cups, where it's like an overflow. Is that like information? We got the Ace of Swords. Yeah, maybe so. It's like the revelation, and then everything just comes pouring up out of that cup. And this could be just not just the reveal, but also the repercussions, like the backlash on account of all that's being exposed. Yep, that's what that is. Into this establishment of sorts. That, when I'm picking up now that I'm thinking about it, with the Four of Wands in this regard, in this energy, that it was much more of an establishment or an arrangement, maybe for both of them in some way, shape, or form. You know, maybe they both had their invested interest in the partnership. And it could have been to some degree, because remember, the Queen of Cups didn't come out very long. It showed its face and it went back in. She's still an independent gal here and established and loving her freedom. So maybe having this like mystical connection was feeding her, like her obscure lifestyle to some degree, because she didn't have to answer to the public proclamation of partnership, but still could have the benefits of it, and also kind of funnel funds to his, you know, to his side of things. Like that might be what comes through, is that a lot of that so-called financial funneling wasn't just on account of the leisure experiences, like the trips and the dinners and, you know, the dating aspect, but because she had kind of like that pipeline, so to speak, no pun intended, she was able to funnel more through maybe even his practices or whatever her financial interests were, like almost laundering to some degree. And again, it worked because they were having a good time as well. Like it was intimately a grand time, but there was also some opportunistic benefit for her as well. Whatever that gets to be, I don't know, but I think that's one thing that's also going to spring out like a can of worms by the end of all of this, that this relationship wasn't even that, even though it was secretive, because his statement is that it wasn't a secret, it was private, is what he said. So people knew about it, but it wasn't like they were broadcasting it to the world. But it may come to be like, get a closer look, as I often see this Four of Wands card, like from a distance, it looks like one thing, but behind the scenes, behind those doors, when you get, you know, up close and all up in their business, like this case is probably fitting to do, it's going to be revealed to be something maybe a little bit darker, maybe a little bit more sinister, or just a little bit more mystical and mysterious than, I mean, the Devil card is here. Like, something else is going on here. They might have been hustling each other to some degree, but still, you know, willfully, what do you call it? Willfully, like, enjoying the benefits, reaping neither one of those words is what I'm looking for, but the perks, you know, enjoying the perks that came along with both of the positions that they were playing. This is like that, like a position card, like a performance type of relationship. Maybe not meant to be outward to the public, but definitely having some point of prominence in their personal productivity, one way or another, one to another, and then collectively so. So, ooh, man. And like I said, this could be an inflection coming from this case that I'm picking up on, but this could be very general, especially with this card talking about, you know, a commercial couple, so to speak, that may be under fire from some third party, perhaps, that is projecting the truth onto the true nature of this partnership, and everything is just kind of spilling out from there, and they're both having to answer to it and having to protect their own ass and assets, but both more or less having dirty hands in the situation. So it's only but so much you can really throw onto the other without, you know, revealing your part in it, but at the same time being willing to perhaps throw the other under the bus as far in as you possibly can to protect yourself. You know, like that's the conflict that I feel like some of these like lower vibrational partnerships, whether they be intimately or just, like I said, an arrangement of sorts, are facing now, because the judgment day is here, you know, and justice will be served. It doesn't really matter the nature of your participation or involvement. Whatever it is that you're being called to, you're being subpoenaed for at this time, is probably serving as spiritual justice in ways that they just didn't ever think they would have to account for. It's like a surprise. That's crazy. Well, we'll see how this plays out. You know, I'm a tune in and see where it goes, but I won't beat it down. I promise. I only peek back in if something of value pops up. But I know that this, like I said, it was an inflection for real life stuff. So it is what it is. And as I said, everybody's going to have to answer for what it is, one way or another. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah. I never really got into this Emperor card. I'm not really sure why. I kind of skipped over him. Because we have the King of Swords here that seems very forward. Maybe it's like a hidden power. Maybe somebody's like the front man for the attack, but there's something else here. There's like a power behind the power, or like the general almost of this tactic of attack. That's not been revealed or doesn't wish to be revealed. Maybe it won't be revealed, I don't know. But there's a greater power and authority that I think this person is answering to or working with, that also has some stake in the dissemination or demise of whatever the death, ultimately the demise of this couple. Somebody has an invested interest in it and is willing to promote that interest, but maybe not so much willing to be the face of it. But they on the board too. So that means that, as I said, truth and clarity will be revealed. And if that is the case, then there may be an exposure of even that. I mean, the Emperor could be a leader of high regard. It could be the damn president, for crying out loud. Maybe Trump his damn got his hands up in it, you know, like somebody that has a great deal of power and access, influence. Here, my nose is itching like crazy. That's kind of propping this man up to kind of be the general of the attack, but there's something deeper here that's going on. Well, we shall see. I'm a snapshot this one and make sure that I keep it in mind as the case unfolds, so I can remember, because maybe we're gonna see the true power play behind all of this, as well as the revelation of, you know, the shadows of it as well, of the key players. Like everybody, they think they putting somebody out to pasture and now they about to be exposed too. Like, you know, it's that type of vibe, but that's how it works. That Wheel of Fortune energy. One thing about it, you want to make sure you're on the upside of that wheel, especially if you start trying to turn it against someone. You might find yourself crushed in the process. Due process. Pun intended. All right, I'm done. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.